I'd also want to play devil's advocate and start wondering, maybe there's some instances where net neutrality could be harmful.
Well, no.
Because I've been, that's part of the thing that I've been reading into, this whole concept of net neutrality, whether or not it's good, if there are any shortcomings and whatever.
Well, here's the other thing, and the thing that's completely missed in this proposal, and that's the thing. This is another. It's like everything we're getting into here is a 15-minute discussion to go into it into depth, and that's the fact that, and this is blasphemy when you're talking about pro-net neutrality to say private internets are a good thing in unique circumstances. I will give you a perfect example of an industry that a lot of us would like to see succeed, where a private, not public internet is the best way to accomplish it. And believe it or not, we have a lot of private internets now. If you're in a company where you work from home and you're connected to a VPN or some type of network like that, you're on a private internet. You're on a WAN that your house and office are part of. That's your company's network, dedicated solely to that. And the resources are purely that. That WAN also connects to the biggest WAN in the world, the internet. That WAN is for private use only, not public use. There's a galvanizing thing when it comes to net neutrality, which is certain services will never exist because they need to be built on internet-like infrastructures. But the resources need to be dedicated solely and 100% to one or two services, not other things. A perfect example of that, even though I don't particularly like the service because I think it has a lot of problems in its current incarnation, is something like OnLive. For that technology to work, those packets need to be routed a very specific way to get rid of the lag and everything else. And the primary node needs to be within a certain geographical distance and everything else. The amount of effort that went into creating that effort, if you know anything about how packets ping around the internet and giving those the proper prioritization they needed and all the partnerships that had to go into place for that to even in the current incarnation it is, I'm surprised they were able to do it. The logistics alone are a nightmare, let alone the technological problems to solve. For services like that to be created and they need to be done on a private internet where they can prioritize packs and give them priority and then decide. This should not be, this is a different internet. It's an internet, but it isn't what we traditionally today call the internet. It's an internet whose sole service is to provide a service. And then they're charging access to that internet to provide that service. Some neutrality rules apply there. Some neutrality rules make no economic sense to do whatsoever. And that's the really complex issue to get in here. One of the things in how this is proposed is to move net neutrality forward while encouraging a second type of internet where that's legal but doesn't directly contradict net neutrality. See, right now those two worlds don't live together and they can't. So it's saying rather than try and make them live together, let's put them in different worlds. This world does this world does that. Purists are crying bloody murder on this because there is the potential for abuse. That's why I think competition needs to be, there's missing pieces to this. More competition, straightening out of the legal hoopla of digital copyright and fair use and everything else, and issues like that. Those issues need to be straightened out as this Bill of Rights is made, because otherwise we're setting up a situation that will be abused. But if you straighten all those issues out, it's a monumental step forward for everyone.
If you read the Google proposal, you can tell that they did take those kinds of issues into consideration.
Well, no, and saying the thing is, we're in an imperfect world right now. I just named three bad laws if you were paying attention. One of them everybody knows, the DMCA, but there's the other one of, well, who owns the infrastructure and what can you do with it and yada yada and so forth. As like that, that's not a cut and dry issue and everything else either. So it's complex. So hopefully we get that together. If I can't get it together, I may wind up just going into it myself. I don't know. Hopefully I can get a group table discussion on that, because I really don't want that to be just me.
Can't eat an elephant in one day.
Well, no. This is hopefully a preview to something that will be published later this week. It's like, and by now I've already got people unsubscribing. It's like, oh, he's a Google fanboy. He's all for Google taking over the internet. Like, no, that is not what I'm for. I'm not for anybody taking over the internet. I'm for technology moving forward and end users getting a better deal, bang for the buck, and more rights guaranteed. The other little issue to get into here, really, in that discussion is the FCC even capable of exercising this authority? Because one of the things proposed here is creating a whole separate regulatory authority that actually understands the issues that are being dealt with here, which I don't necessarily think is a bad thing at all, considering a little over not too long ago, the FCC had the ability to prevent companies like Comcast from denying things like BitTorrent, and they gave it up. And then when they tried to enforce it, when they did that, they realized, what do you mean we gave up our authority to do that? We didn't mean to do that. It's like, okay. Anything else on here we want to get into?
One other thing we haven't touched on the list is the Android-powered PSP. What's that all about?
Right now it's a rumor. Whether or not it's actually going to come about is anyone's guess. That's personally a device I would love to see, even though I'm not a gamer anymore. And the reason I say that is because I honestly think that would be a good marriage. It would be a good start, because if a marriage like that can be made, that's a good intermediary step between in the long run, the mobile console market, and maybe in the really long run, the the TV and mobile console music market all being consolidated.
Android is going to TVs with the Google TV kind of thing.
Yeah, well, it's like, and if you can get things like this, what you'll have is an Android device that happens to run the PSP platform also. And in the long run, what that could lead to is an Android gaming device where you buy the PSP platform, the Nintendo platform, the Xbox platform, all the platforms for your Android device. It becomes software, not hardware. In other words, you buy the master console and you pick what software world you want to get into. And, Microsoft sells you the Xbox world, Sony sells you the PlayStation world, Nintendo sells you the Nintendo world. In the grand scheme of things, it would be a lot like when Sega decided we're not going to build consoles anymore, we're just going to sell our software to everyone else. If Android can pull this off, and Sony's willing to work with them like this, it creates a much more powerful device that maybe it encourages others to want to do it too. And maybe the PlayStation 4 will be an Android device as opposed to purely a PlayStation. And that would be a hard thing to compete with in the long run, due to the openness of it and the fact that everybody can use it. It could wind up being a platform that puts an end to this hoopla. And actually, in the long run, would become more profitable to the gaming industries, because they don't have to. Right now, the console market is, you're either the biggest or you're losing. That's it. You're either dominating the console market or you're just flushing money down the toilet in the hopes that in the next shakeup in 2 or 3 years, you manage to wind up on top. If they let set-top and mobile phone manufacturers take the hardware constraint off of them and just sell the software emulation to them, they make more money. It doesn't matter at the end of the day whether or not they're on top. They make money all the time. And I think in the long run it would also become cheaper for the end user. a world I'm desperately hoping comes about before I have teenage kids. Because I'm not looking forward to bankrupting myself buying one console after another. Of course, that's a little bit of a utopian idea on my part. And at the end of the day, the flip side to that is whether or not the console market has enough sense to realize that actually makes them a shitload more money. Because the honest thing is, right now, some households have every system, but I would still be willing to bet most households today pick a game console. And that wouldn't be picking them. Anyways.
I only have one.
Yeah. It's like, and then you wouldn't have to pick, and then... Yeah, anyways. Maybe that's just all pie in the sky. Even though this is more Linux stuff, do you have anything to say on this ever-increasing dementia of oracles?
I don't know. I don't know a whole lot about the details of Oracle's patents on Java or whatever it is.
Well, okay, and the important thing to note here on this, and I guess this will be, unless you see anything else on here you want to really go into, or if you just want to wrap up with this. While you're making a decision. Here's what happened. Oracle bought Sun. And when they bought Sun, they got all of Sun's patents. And since that happened, a lot of projects have been stalled. And these are things Sun never would have sued people on. Oracle bought Sun. Now they're suing people and trying to do these things. In the short run, I agree with the general consensus of the internet. Google's going to pay Oracle money just to settle this quickly. Oracle's going to get some money out of this. And in the long run, this may be the first step to the death of Java. And I really do mean that, because Oracle's setting the precedent that if you use Java, if you use an open implementation of Java, if yada yada, we're going to sue you, we're going to sign. You know, whenever a company does this, the general mentality of the computer ecosystem is as follows. Okay, we need to find something else to use, because we're not doing anything wrong, but this is going to cost us money in legal defense for doing nothing wrong, so we're just not going to use this platform anymore. In the long run, I think Oracle is really killing Java. Do I think it's going to happen overnight? No, it can't. But I see cross-platform, everybody trying to move off of it.
From what I understand, though, that the specifics of the case only apply to a mobile system, so might not kill Java on the desktop.
May or may not. I don't know. And it's real arguable. See, here's the thing, and this is why I say this is more a Linux issue, because some things in open source are purely open source, and some things are GPL. And as a company is sold from company X to company Y, the terms of the GPL, they do a change. What was okay to do for years all of a sudden becomes you're getting sued. Yada yada, and so on and so forth. I'm regretting more and more that Sun was sold to Oracle every day. I just am. I really am. Anyways, we may wind up going into that when we do Linux tomorrow. I think that's everything. I apologize for all the ums and uns and everything else in this show, as well as the irregular times and everything else. Unless you got anything else here to say, Jordan, I'm going to kind of wrap this up here.
I'm good for now.
Okay. Peace out, everyone. Sorry the show sucked.
Such is the name.
Yep.